Hello everybody, welcome to the channel. Well, this is going to be, where are we now? I think we're going to be at part 3 of the VW T25 restoration. The biggest problem with this van from day one has always been the engine. It's a 1.9 litre diesel, it's a 1Z, so it's a 1.9 litre turbo diesel. It's a really early one of 1.9s and it is knackered, it's got nothing left to give. The original plan, as I said in part 1, I was going to tear it out, break it down, go through it, see what it needed, assess it, and then do what we needed to do. The trouble is, you can see behind me here, this van has to go in and out of the workshop quite a lot. I can't actually get it to where I've got the camera stood right now unless I put it on skates and move it round. So it's really useful that it can run. So although the engine is completely, it's had it, I can still drive in and out the shop with it, that's what I need it to do. So I was googling around because I had a AFN model 1.9 diesel. It was laid in a hedge, covered in rust, all furry aluminium. It absolutely looked horrible, and I didn't think it fit. That's why I left it there. So I was googling around last night, looking at a few of the forums, and it turns out actually it will fit. It's still 1.9 litre, still 1.9 litre turbo. The differences with it are internal. The outside of the block's actually the same. Even the pistons from the 1Z will fit it. It's journal sizes on the crank and things like that. The cylinder head's also different and the injection's different. But none of that matters. It will actually go in the same hole that 1Z sat in right now. So I thought, I had an afternoon spare, rip it apart, let's see what it was like. And to be honest, I was amazed. And the thing was a complete road oiler. It was got oil come out of every single orifice. I had to drill bolts out of it and all sorts to get it apart. But once I was in, it's really good. I mean, it must have run really well when it was in the car. So I've got it here now. I'm going to do this video a little bit backwards because what I'm actually going to start and do, I'm going to build up a bottom end. That'll be in the next instalment. I'm going to build the bottom end and get it ready. I'm also going to go through the cylinder head as well, so that I've got like a long engine sat waiting to go in. So that means when I come to actually taking the engine out of this in the next 2 or 3 weeks, all I've got to do is take off the front dress and the injection system and a few other bits and pieces off of the 1Z, install them onto the AFN, and I can put it straight in. So it just gets rid of that 2 weeks of going down to the machine shop, getting it rebored, all that kind of stuff. It can already be done. So that's what we're going to do. I will show you around this block and all the insides of it in a moment. But what I've got to do first, I'm going to take it outside. I've got a big plastic IBC container, and I'm going to steam clean it because it's absolutely filthy. It must have been sat outside for 3 years. But there's no water inside it. I'll show you through it in a moment, and I'll be back. Right, that's all done. I actually used a brick cleaning acid on the engine block. I got it degreased, got all the oil and the contaminants off of it. And I've actually used a coat of acid on there just to really etch it back. Nothing went down the cylinder, so you can be quite careful with it. You put it on with a brush. And it's come up really good. I did the crank too. The crank looks fine. I'm going to bring the camera in just a second so you can take a look. But on the whole, it's pretty much what I expected. It was just dirty. When I've cleaned it, even down the bores, I'll get the torch in there in a minute so you can see. It was just a bit unloved, even the shelves and everything are all fine. If it was in a car running, it wouldn't sound amiss. I won't put them back, there's no point. While we're in here for the price of them, we'll freshen everything up. I'll bring the camera in now and you can take a look, and let's have a see. There we go. Excuse my fingers. Right. So, first things first. If I get down the bolt, look. You may or may not be able to see, and it's not going to turn up too great on the camera. But apart from that little ridge around the top, I really did steer clear of the balls when I was steam cleaning. But the honing marks are all in there. There's no lip, no nothing like that. They just want a quick deglaze. But it's fine. And if we get around to the crank, get in nice and close. Go on, focus. Do it. No, it's not going to wear it. We might have to take my word for it, but the crank is absolutely fine. No scoring. Oh, we can see this one. So all the journals are good. Just to give you a clue, I'm going to try and actually put up the pictures of the engine before I took it to pieces. But that's the belt pulley on the end of the crank for the timing belt. So it was in a bit of a state. As you look through it, it's cleaned up okay. There's no reason whatsoever we can't use that. If I just grab a random shell, You know, if you look in there, that's just been taken out, so there's nothing wrong. There's hardly anywhere in the engine anyway. So the next thing for me to do, I guess, is I'll let it all dry, and I'm going to get some engine lacquer. The next time you see it, hopefully it'll be on an engine stand, painted black, and we'll be putting it all back together again. If I put the camera back just for a second. Come on. Yeah, I hate this camera mount. There we go. The one thing I didn't clean when I was steam cleaning is the pistons. Again, the pistons look absolutely fine, so do the rods, there's no wear, there's no play, you know, it all looks fine. Obviously they'll need new rings. They are okay, they're serviceable, but I'm not, you know, for the sake of it, they're about £30, we'll just change them. But on the whole, you know, I was actually really surprised about that. And then in the video I'll put the pictures of the engine before I started it. You would not have believed the condition it was in, so... Yeah, next time we'll have it all covered in paint, and we'll be putting the crank back, putting the pistons in, putting the rods, but obviously putting all the, basically building the rotating assembly is what I'm trying to say. And the head, I've steam cleaned that, that's just there. I'm going to go through that. The head looks okay. There's a company near me that do, I've not seen it done yet, for the first time I've had it done. They do it's like they submerge the whole thing in water, and they fire bits of silicone at it. So it's like underwater shot blasting, and it brings castings up absolutely beautifully. Now, I need to take all the valves out of that, all the rest of it I'll probably even do a separate video just on the head. I'm going to have that cleaning process done because it removes everything. And these cars run a catalytic converter. I think this came out of Golf if I remember rightly, somebody could probably correct me on that. But they run a catalytic converter, it backs up behind the turbo, and they get really dirty in the head. Luckily we won't have that problem on the van because we haven't got one, but the head's going to need a bit more effort. The valves look okay, again, it's just dirty, it needs to come to pieces and be cleaned. But yeah, apart from that, in a week or so we'll have it all back together again, and well, thanks for watching.